All right, take a look at this view. This is Bogota, Colombia. Millions and millions of people live in this city, which makes it extremely difficult. The reason why they've had so many urban guerrilla groups and a lot of crime, but it's a beautiful city. I love it. I love being here, but I love this backdrop and thought it would be interesting. This is nothing professional, but I wanted to start the class. Now, I give many different online classes, and I wanted to do one video, which is interesting with this huge Bogota. We're in the mountains in the Andes. Backdrop would be really interesting, and this one is about the final paper. Now, I get a lot of questions about the final paper. It depends on what level you're at. So if I'm teaching, say, POS Global Politics 160, it would be a paper, say, you have to reach 7 pages. If you're in an upper level class, American foreign policy, national security, political violence, global politics, etc., global problems and debates, among others, that would be 12 pages. Make sure you read the syllabus and hit the exact amount of pages that you have to hit. Everything is double spaced. Roman times, whatever that font is, with regular margins. Some students try to get the margins really small to make the paper longer. But I also want to stress, in addition to having, it has to relate to the course. Let's say you're doing a U.S. foreign policy course with me. You have to do a paper on U.S. foreign policy. But try to make these papers, particularly the final papers. I also have smaller papers in my national security class, an intelligence paper, and a simulation paper in my American foreign policy class. But by and large, try to make any paper you do in my class, let's just say a final paper for political violence or global politics or national security, do something that you can actually put in your portfolio. So let's just say you're really interested in going to law school. You want to be an international lawyer. Do something national security and international law. Do something, if you're in the U.S. foreign policy class, U.S. foreign policy and international law. Let's just say you're really interested in education. Do something, U.S. foreign policy and education. Let's say you're really interested in gender rights, women's rights. Do something in the political violence or global problems and debates course on the issue, say political violence and gender. This is very important because sooner or later you're going to be applying to internships, graduate programs, and jobs. And a lot of these, because it gets more and more demanding, exigente, we're in Bogota, hablamos español, but it gets more demanding and you're going to have to need more than just regular recommendations, a 4.0, which a lot of people get nowadays. You should be proud, but have a really good paper to put in your portfolio, because a lot of these internships, jobs, and particularly graduate and law school require a good paper. And you could also talk about the paper in an interview. So let's say you're interested in going to be a foreign service officer. You could do something on diplomacy in any of these classes and then talk about it in an interview, or submit it with your application wherever you might be applying, and you do the paper on diplomacy. So diplomacy and Iran, what works, what doesn't work, let's say in a U.S. foreign policy course. So use something, these papers that you do in my class, for utilitarian reasons. I had one young student, and she applied to Columbia University for a master's program, and she took my one of my courses, and she used her final paper she did in my course as a part of her application to Columbia University, the master's. She got in. Now, obviously, she didn't just get in because she must have been a stellar student, but, the paper obviously helped, because I kept on stressing, you write a paper that you can use later in your portfolio to apply to internships, graduate schools, jobs, etc. And this is very important because a lot of these people want to know that you have a deep interest, and that's one of the things as well. Studying political science or global studies, you want to start finding an area you're really interested in. So if you're really interested in, say, conflict resolution, do a great paper on conflict resolution. And these papers can be about anything. Like if you're in my national security class or political violence class, you're welcome to do a paper on, say, what's going on in Myanmar, Saudi Arabia's relations with Yemen. I focus on Latin America, but you don't have to limit yourself to that area. I'm in Bogota right now. I'm going now today to visit an NGO that deals with the crisis of La FARC and the guerrilla group that's been around in Colombia for like over 60 years. It was, until the peace process, the longest guerrilla war in Latin American history. So this is very, very interesting, and I know this is, more academic world, but I apply everything to the real world. So try to create in your paper as well policy solutions to address real world problems. So I hope this was helpful. Start thinking about your final papers now, because a lot of people don't, and they do it in the last minute, and you're in an upper level course and then they send a 5-page paper. Ooh, that's not even half of what's expected, because you have to hit that 12th page if you're in an upper level course with me. You also need 5 sources outside of the class, peer reviews, documentaries, they could be BBC, etc., but you need 5 good references. So start thinking about the paper now, and don't just think of the paper just to placate me and get a good grade, but something that you can use long term. So I hope you like the view over here. This is actually a nice area of Bogota. This is Champañeros. We're in the middle of the Andes right here, and it's really cool. And I'm going to an NGO now to discuss and to work with people who have been involved in the peace process here in Colombia. So email me or with any questions you have about the final paper, but start it soon, because it's going to go, these online courses go fast.